I have a confession to make, and this isn't some clickbait nonsense. This is a real confession, and the confession that I have is that I'm not always a nice person. True fact. So I post across social media, on here, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, about positive mindset, about being kind to people, about being a decent human being, about being kind to yourself, about being grateful for the things that we have. And I talk about positive mindset a lot. And for the last, probably the last 8 years, my world has been immersed in that kind of mindset and that kind of positive chat. Largely because I needed it, because I needed to feel good and I needed to work on my own mindset. As an actress, I was having to work on how to bounce back. As when I became a mom, suddenly I needed to learn how do you deal with the minefield of stuff that brings about. And then when my husband had a cancer diagnosis and then subsequently died last year, I needed to dig deeper than I've ever dug when it comes to positive mindset and feeling good about ourselves and feeling good about our lives. So it's something that I talk about extensively. But over the last year, I have shifted again. And those of you that follow this channel will know that when my husband died, I really recognized the nonsense often, the games that we play in life, the nonsense that life can sometimes be, and all the social constraints and norms and the things that we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to live our lives. And I ripped everything back, and I really felt that I didn't understand life again. So, you know, you sort of feel like you get it to a point. Now I'm 34 this year, and you sort of think by this age, you kind of got, you know what you're doing. And I realized I didn't. And so when Ross died, I went, okay, I need to let go of every bit of judgment that I'm having on other people, on situations, and I need to have a clean slate, because I don't understand life, because Ross is dead. So I can't understand the life that I understood before had Ross in it, and now it doesn't, and I don't understand life. And what I also learned going through grief, and going through grief in such a public way, it was certainly very highly publicized here in the UK. It was in the press, and I talk about it. And so, you know, there was a lot of comment on it. There was a lot of comment on how I deal with things, how I talk about things, and whether that was acceptable and all that kind of stuff. And I realized that with all the judgment that was being put on me, it shone a mirror, it held a mirror up to me and made me realize that actually, for many years, as much as I had spoken about positive mindset and being kind, there was also a massive amount of judgment that I was putting out on other people and how they lived their lives. And so my confession of saying that I'm not always a nice person is the truth. I mean, I'm not putting judgment on myself for that, because the reality is none of us are nice 100% of the time, and we can't be, and we strive to be the best that we can be, but we're gonna massively mess up sometimes. And in the last year, I've really tried to let go of my ego, of let go of trying to always be the strongest and the most focused, and, you know, and just being able to be a bit more vulnerable. And believe me, that is not easy. And I did an Instagram, IGTV live about this the other day. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, Holly Matthews 84, I did do something on there about this as well, about vulnerability. But it's really made me address and realize that, you know, talking about all of this stuff is amazing, talking about positive mindset, but I also have to recognize that sometimes I haven't got that right. You know, I believe the things that I talk about wholeheartedly, but I'm also on my own journey as well, and there are going to be times, and there have been times, when I haven't got it right. I have maybe made a judgment on a certain opinion, and I've realized that I could have been wrong on that, or I might have misinterpreted that. And so my confession to you is mostly just to say, do you know what, sometimes we are wrong, and we have to stay open, regardless of our age, to the fact that we need to still learn, and that there are times or situations that will happen in your own life where you might have had an opinion on a certain moral thing or a certain I don't know, whatever it is, but a certain opinion or a certain type of lifestyle even, where you thought that would never be me and I would never do that and no way, I don't believe in that, whatever it is. And then you might be in a certain set of circumstances where you go, actually, I was wrong and it was fine. And I do believe in this now. Or you can just be willing to shift, to pivot, to change on things if it doesn't suit your life anymore. Because there will be different points in your life where you are a different person. And for me personally, in the last year, I've shifted into a new stage in my life. And so I've had to allow myself and had to kind of force myself a little bit to stay open to what is next and not put the judgment of the last section of my life on it. Because if you do that, then you stifle your growth and you stop yourself from moving forward. And so, yeah, this is my thoughts. I don't know if it makes that much sense, but hopefully it does. I just want you to understand that even if you are like me and you talk about mindset and positivity and being a good person, that doesn't mean that you are not wrong or make mistakes or mess up or, you know, all of those things, and that we should just try and stay as open as possible. And I will promise you guys that I will stay as open as possible and try and share my journey and share mistakes that I've made. And I really do think, as I look back on, certainly I look back on my social media posts over the last couple of years, and I can actually see where, you know, we always know the reality of the post, where it was coming from. And although I know that when I'm posting stuff, I fully believe stuff, sometimes when I was posting things about positivity, there was a lot of negativity in my own life. I guess that's, you know, that's normal, and you can't, I think it's a thing that anybody who works within this kind of sector battles with, that sometimes we're still talking about what we should be doing and we're not always doing it. So yeah, that's my thoughts, and I've certainly massively over the last 6 months worked again on my own mindset, and I probably haven't been on social media as much as I was, which some of you are like, oh God, how much were you actually on social media? But I was, and I think I have been better at giving myself time off and better at my own boundaries, and it's a good thing. So I just wanted to share it with you and admit that sometimes I don't get it right, and I hope that that lets you off in some way and that you allow yourself to make mistakes, because when you make mistakes, only then can you actually grow. If you are never making mistakes, then you aren't trying and you aren't developing. And I don't want to stay the same for the rest of my life. I want to continue to learn. So hopefully that is what is happening. I hope you found value in the video. Make sure that you subscribe. If you did, drop me a comment below, because I love to hear from you, and make sure that you share this if you think that somebody else would find it beneficial. Have a great day.